S. here.
Yes, it's Karen S. here. Following my last video on tag and its incommensurability, that is, how it's a deistic argument that any religion can use, Deconverted Man and I had some video conversations and decided that we're going to do a fallacy count treatment of Matt Slick's tag argument, just like we did last year of the Cy 10 Burke and Kate Matt Dillahunty debate.
Him? Oh no, not him! No, not him! Okay, I'll help you.
Our plan is for Deconverted Man to do most of the counting, and I will be adding some commentary to sort of tie it all together. This will be sort of an intro video in order to address a crucial part of Matt Slick's rebuttal from his CARM website to the tag rebuttal on Iron Chariots. The rest of it will be covered in our fallacy count review. Now, Iron Chariots start their criticism at point 5 of Slick's tag argument. So, in his response, Slick begins by stating, I would like to point out that because the article states that the first problem occurs at 5.1 through 4, this means that there are no problems with the previous statements in the argument, including the idea that logical absolutes are transcendent and are not dependent on space or time or people, as 4.A through C declares. Now, I probably would not have given that a lot of attention if not for the fact that as I read through Slick's rebuttal, I noticed again and again and again he kept referring back to the critics at Iron Chariots agreeing with him as to the laws of logic being independent of space and time, and according to him were therefore contradicting themselves. He repeated this 7 of 8 times throughout his rebuttal in regard to the laws of logic being independent of space and time. Now, Deconverted Man has determined that there are fallacies from almost the very beginning of his argument, but I'm just going to start at point 4, which I found to be the most significant error of his argument. Here is Slick's video from 2008 where he says just that. At that time, it was point 3 in his argument.
Third, the laws of logic are transcendent. Logic transcends space and time. This means that if you were to go in any particular direction and reach the end of the physical universe, logical absolutes don't stop being true because of where you are. If you were to travel back to the beginning of the universe or move 1 trillion years into the future, they don't stop being true because of when you are. At least, no one has yet demonstrated that they stop being true. Besides, if they did stop being true and dependable, then they would not be absolute.
When Slick explains how the laws of logic are not dependent on space or time, he only shows how the laws of logic do not stop being true anywhere in the space-time continuum, which itself is arguable considering the size of the universe and such things as dark energy and dark matter and black holes. But even if I granted Slick's assertion, dependency is defined as a relation between conditions such that one cannot begin or be completed, that would be the laws of logic, until one or more of the other conditions, that would be time and space or the dimensions, have occurred. In other words, Slick needs to explain how the laws of logic would still hold if neither space or time had occurred, or separate them from space and time, as this would be a true independent relationship. The way he explains them now is begging the question, because he is using space and time to explain how the laws of logic are independent of space and time. He is only explaining why he believes they are universally true. But when you take away the space and time, it is readily apparent that the laws of logic cannot hold. No matter what form material is in, it can only exist spatially. And without time, there can be no change, since there is nothing to act to give it order. For example, the law of non-contradiction could not hold, because without time, 2 or more items could be in one place at one time, because there is no one time. Besides the fact, they could not be in one place, since the component of space is gone. The laws of logic are completely and utterly dependent on space and time. One could even say that the preconditions of intelligibility for the laws of logic are the dimensions of space and time. Matt Slick has committed a straw man, as he is misrepresenting the actual meaning of transcending space and time. But if he were To correct number 4 to the laws of logic being universally true to correspond with how he explains them, they would not be transcendent, and if that's combined with Slick's special pleading, his argument becomes a mishmash of unreconcilable difficulties. Now, if the Iron Chariot critics had noticed this, I'm sure they would have pointed it out and strenuously objected to number 4 with a pretty solid case that logic was not transcendent. But their missing this allowed Slick to declare the critics as agreeing with him throughout his rebuttal, and using this agreement by omission to support almost all his objections. Now I must add that questions about God's relation to time involve many of the most perplexing topics in metaphysics. These include the nature of the fundamental structures of the universe, as well as the nature of God. I have concluded from Slick's writings on karma and other statements he's made that he believes God is eternal, as well as the logical absolutes, which implies that God is subject to time. However, I will leave that for our fallacy analysis. Again, Deconverted Man will be counting all the fallacies in tag. As I've noted, we found fallacies right from the beginning of his argument. This will keep us very busy, and I will leave it at that. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.